All right. So it's your girl Sonya Z Phillips, and today I'm super excited to be talking to my good friend Miss Dianne Creekmore about sickle cell disease. And so, um, Miss Dianne, won't you just tell us? Imagine we're a complete stranger on the street and we never heard of sickle cell before. Why don't you tell us exactly what it is, and then maybe go into how you are connected to sickle cell and how it has affected your life?
Okay. All right. Hi, Sonia. Thank you for having me. Um, September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. For those of you who are not aware, um, of sickle cell has their own month, and they also have a World Sickle Cell Day, which is June 19th, and is shared with Juneteenth. Sickle cell is a disease that has impacted my life for the last 50 years. My oldest child is 50 years old, and she was born with sickle cell disease. I have two children and a granddaughter um, that have sickle cell disease, not the trait, but the actual disease. A lot of people will say full blown. Yes, full blown sickle cell disease. Uh, okay. For background, a sickle cell has been known, discovered it over 100 years ago um, by a doctor that had a dental student that was having some issues. And when he looked under the microscope, he saw that this young man's red blood cells were in a sickled shape, not in the normal round shape as normal red blood cells are, which that is what sickle cell affects, the red blood cells. And because he saw the shape of a sickle, that's how he got his name, sickle cell disease.
Okay.
Uh, Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder. Like I said, it shapes and functions the of the red blood cells. The shape of the sickle is what they see in the microscope.
Okay.
Sickle cell is one of the most common genetic disorders in the United States, primarily affecting African Americans, and it's also found in people from South and Central America, the Middle East, Italy, and Greece.
Wow.
Um, People who have sickle cell um, have inherited both two abnormal hemoglobin genes. And at least one of the abnormal genes has to be a S gene. And the S gene is the gene that changes its shape. When spoke about that stickling, if you ever look up at the
Hmm.
moon comes in different shapes.
The crescent.
And and you look up and there's a crescent shaped moon.
Hmm.
It's the exact same shape as a sickle cell.
Hmm.
So the hemoglobin S gene changes the red blood cells into that sickle
Oh.
state. And then when you ever known anybody with sickle cell, you hear that they have sickle cell pain crises or episodes. Well,
Hmm.
what's happening then at that time is those sickle cells start clumping together. They get hard and sticky, just like a traffic jam.
Mm.
And that stops the oxygen from flowing through every major organ in the body.
Okay.
And that is what causes the pain crises or the occlusions, as they want us to call it. And so when the blood is not able to travel through to the small blood vessels,
Mm-hmm.
then every organ in your body is potential to die off. And sickle cell patients die early. And um, no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. The
Mm-hmm.
sickle cells die early,
Right.
which leads to a shortage of the red blood cells. As long as those red blood cells are around and functioning through the body, into the lungs, the heart, the hips, the knees, every joint and every organ, um, people can live a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
But here in America,
Mm-hmm.
there are approximately 75 babies and others that are born, 75 babies that are born each year with sickle cell disease. And people should know their trait status because, like I said earlier, if the parents have trait, the S shapes, I'll tell you the different trait types that they have. They could have AS trait, they could have AC trait. A is the norma gene. Everyone has a norma gene. But the S, the C, and then there's another type, beta sickle thalassemia, hemoglobin. And if you have these types of traits and you mate with someone with a trait, there's a potential with every pregnancy that you could bring a child in the world with sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody should know their trait status.
So how does a person find out their trait status, Diane?
Okay. As a 1989, there's newborn screening in Virginia. But if you don't know your trait status, you could ask your primary care physician. There's a blood test that's called the electrophoresis. And if they perform an electrophoresis test, that will let you know the status, your trait status. And
Okay, well, that was quite informative. So let's just talk a little bit about history. So, I wanted Diane to really get into that as if I didn't know anything. But Diane and I have known each other for quite a long time. Going back to 2015 when I worked at the Urban League of Hampton Roads, I was a HIV and also a sickle cell case manager, and that is during the time when Diane came to our office and became a volunteer and brought along with her a team of other, of her friends that have been affected by sickle cell, and we worked together on several projects and built a relationship here in the Hampton Roads with the Eastern Virginia Medical School, ACE was AKA EVMS, that is still one of sickle cell's partners. So Diane, in your own words, why don't you share a little bit about that, the history, whatever you would like to share, and to where you guys are now with the Sickle Cell Family and Peer Advocates organization.
okay, like Sonya said, I went to the Urban League because I had heard that there was a sickle cell program over there. And this is when I met Sonya Phillips. And she at the time was a case manager, non-medical case manager, that would visit EVMS and speak with the patients and the clients there with sickle cell. And then she introduced us to the Department of Diversity and Inclusion, who at the time the vice president was Gametta McBibb, who
Mm-hmm.
is no longer there. Have a, as a result of that, we were able to have support group meetings there, Christmas parties. He brought in medical students to be a part of our group, which one of them is still with us. She is now chief, pediatric chief resident in San
Wow.
Francisco. And she has 82 people that now she manages, but she
Wow.
still connects with us, Dr. Ursula. And McBib is no longer there. However, they have just formed a partnership with ODU EVMS, and they have hired someone in his position. And as a result of us advocating in the Tidewater area for an adult comprehensive care clinic, which is badly needed because in this area, sickle cell has the greatest population of patients in the state of Virginia. So McBeal wrote a proposal to help get a clinic launched up so that the patients could have comprehensive care because the clinic that was Sonya was a part of had closed.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, we now will this fall have a comprehensive care sickle cell clinic opening at EVMS or Centera. It was a joint venture between them two.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it has just been amazing
Mm-hmm.
what had occurred just from meeting Sonya Phillips, her introducing us to Mr. McBeal, Dr. McBeal. And so now, as what while I was there, Sonia kept saying, Diane, y'all need to form your own. Y'all need to be your own thing. Y'all need to this, y'all need to that. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what she's talking about. I don't have a clue how to go about this. But she was so adamant and she was so compassionate about it. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Then we formed the name Sickle Cell Family and Peer Advocates. And as a result of that, we were able to get connected in the community with different community day health fairs, churches, um, recreation centers, blood drives, and things like that. That's what our group has been doing. We continue with the Christmas party every year, 6 years, um, going on 7 this year. For the Christmas party at EVMS, we do Thanksgiving baskets, Christmas baskets.
Yeah.
We've had a game night.
Yeah.
Uh, we do the parades.
Mm-hmm.
We've had so many families that um, just the few things we've done,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in addition to the toys and things that we bring to the Christmas party,
Right.
we've given gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
We've given game chairs,
Yeah.
um,
Nice.
uh, Apex packages for
Mm-hmm.
young people, um, just to name a few things. I can't think of everything we've done off the top of my head right now. But now, as a result of Sickle Cell Family and Peer Advocates, we then formed the LLC, which now is trying to become a nonprofit. And that will be Sickle Cell Family and Peer Advocates of Tidewater.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anybody interested in working on a committee, nonprofit, have nonprofit board governance, understanding, leadership skills. We are recruiting for volunteers and board members.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that's very important to us at this moment.
Now I do have a question right there. So, since this interview will be shared, the positions you have available, could someone interested in supporting the mission that is not in Tidewater still be a part of the organization remotely?
In top order. What do you mean? But when you say that?
I said in Tidewater because you said it's going to be the sickle cell and
Oh, okay.
family peer advocates of Tidewater. But let's just say someone hears this broadcast and they live in South Carolina, but they're passionate because sickle cells are part of their life. But maybe they have a cousin that lives in Hampton Roads, or maybe they have some type of connection to Hampton Roads, but might not live here. Maybe someone from Hampton Roads that might live in Nevada somewhere might say, "Hey, this is my home. I care about what's happening, but I don't live there. Could someone support you guys with the organization remotely?"
Now that's an excellent question,
I know
and
y'all
that
do Zooms. Like most of y'all meetings be Zoom. I know y'all do have
yeah,
live in
yeah,
person
we
stuff.
we have a Zoom meeting tonight. However, all board officers and member positions have, just like any job, a description of the duties, responsibilities, skills, qualification,
Mm-hmm.
and your educational background. That's an
Mm-hmm.
excellent question, Sonia. Um, what we really need are people that have skill sets and, like I said, knowledge of how to govern a nonprofit organization. Um, need boots on the ground, someone to do the leg work. Well, um, if you have skills in strategic leaderships, governance and board relations,
Okay.
operational oversight, financial stewardship, regulatory compliance, community engagements, human resource leadership, patient and client focus activities, um, then I would say yes,
Okay.
because a lot of things are done via email
Mm-hmm.
and Zoom.
Right.
Those type of things, I feel like we could use.
Okay.
Now, if you're local and you want to join, we need volunteers. Say, for example, we
Mm-hmm.
have a health fair coming up Saturday. We
Mm-hmm.
need people at the table to hand out school supplies and other handouts,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. Talk to people that come to the table and explain, like I'm doing now, what sickle cell is about.
Right.
So we have a Zoom meeting tonight, and I'll ask that question because
Okay.
we're in the season. In September, we start our election process.
Mm-hmm.
November, we take the vote,
Mm-hmm.
and January, the person's position will start.
Okay. Gotcha.
What we're looking for are vice presidents, second vice presidents, recording secretary, corresponding secretary, assistant financial secretary, the financial secretary, treasurer, assistant treasurer, and the sergeant at arms. Those are just some of the positions
Okay.
we
So
really need.
that's really awesome. But what I want to say to you is I would love for you to just send me either by email or text message um maybe that information, and that way once I make the article I can put that information in it, since this interview really is going to be for an article that I'm writing, and I would like to just maybe have that information that I can share along with it. And also I would say let's just move into the next segment, which is how people can connect with you. So if you want to verbally say maybe your Facebook information or your email address, your website, if you guys have a preferred way for people to connect with you, if you are accepting donations, how people can support your mission. And then I have a couple more questions, but I definitely want you to share how to um, you know, how to connect with you.
Okay, so the best way to connect with us is via our email address,
Mm-hmm.
and that is S as in Sam, C as in Charlie, F as in Frank, P as in Paul, and A as in Alpha, dot Tidewater, T as in Tom, I as in Isaac, D as in David, E as in Edward, W as in water, A as in Alpha, T as in Tom, E as in Edward, and R as in Robert. And that's SCFPA dot Tidewater at gmail.com. That's the best way to contact us.
Okay. And
Yes.
and I can grab all your other stuff because I know how to find your Facebook and stuff on, and so I can just probably copy and paste those links. So we only
We do
have
have Instagram.
okay.
We
Go ahead and
have
say
a
it.
Facebook page. Honestly, I don't know it.
No, no, okay. I'll make sure I grab that. We only got a few minutes left before our Zoom ends. So I really would just like for you to share with our listeners and our readers the importance for African Americans to support blood drives.
Oh my God. Blood save lives. Sickle cell patients require frequent and chronic blood transfusions. And the African American community is urgently needed to become blood donors
Mm-hmm.
because there are antigens in our blood. Say, for example, I may be type A positive, and you may be type A positive.
Mm-hmm.
But the antigens in our blood will have to match. So when I receive blood from a Caucasian or Asian that have the same blood type, I'm not saying that the blood is not good and won't work, but if we had a exact match, that would help prevent some of the things that go wrong for African Americans with blood transfusions. That's why we need more African Americans and Black to be blood donors, so that we don't run into the problems with the antibodies
Mm-hmm.
causing problems when persons receive their blood transfusions.
Okay.
We
Thank you,
don't have
Diane.
enough.
I want to go ahead and just cut you off right there, Diane. I'm sorry because we only got like 6 minutes and 38 seconds. So I want to give this young lady an opportunity to introduce herself, and just maybe in the 6 minutes that we have left to just share something about sickle cell with us.
I'm sorry I'm late.
It's okay. You got 6 minutes, girl. Use it.
Okay. So I'm Day-Shana Jones-Veal. I have sickle cell type SS. Um, I am a patient that has sickle cell that needs chronic blood transfusions.
Mhm.
I actually just got one at 12 o'clock this morning, came home at 5 this morning, 4 this morning, one or the other, still tired.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm an advocate for sickle cell because I do have to get chronic blood transfusions. I now have iron overload, which I need a medicine to help the iron overload so that my organs and my heart don't fail.
Oh wow.
And that's about it. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have 5 kids.
Hi. Wow.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, what would you like for the world to know about sickle cell? So I don't know how much Diane told you, but I probably will use this interview, the audio from it, for maybe a podcast that I have. But the real reason for today's interview is because I'm writing an article for Digital Magazine, and
Hmm.
the topic is invisible illness or disease or something like that. And I just would like for you just to share, as a person living with sickle cell, what would you like for people to know about this disease that have no idea that you have it or have no idea what sickle cell is?
Um, well, I would want people to know that sickle cell disease is real. Just because we look like this
Mm-hmm.
and we still cannot be feeling well. Um, we push through a lot. The pain is real.
Mm-hmm.
It is very real. Um, but we're all fighters. We're soldiers. We take one day at a time and we just keep it going. Um, I wish there was more awareness so more people could and would know about sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be such of a disconnect. Um, I guess that's it.
Okay.
I know I only have 6 minutes.
I know,
Well,
but
maybe
what
five
I can
minutes. I'm
do
sorry.
is I will well, Diane, you have my stuff. Just give her my cell phone number. And what I would say is, since the Zoom is gonna run out, you can just send me anything that comes up that you think about that you might want to add. Like, man, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should have said this. And what I will do is maybe I start writing it maybe towards the end of the week, because I have to
Okay.
have the finished article in by the 24th. So my goal was to try to like get with you guys, work on it over the weekend, submit the rough draft for you guys to review, and if you wanted to change anything, and then submit it over to her like, midweek. So that'll be like Wednesday of next week, I think is like the 21st, maybe by Wednesday or Thursday, to like send it over to her. So like I said before, we have about 3 minutes left. And I really appreciate you being here today. So my thing that I would like to ask you is, when you're in the midst of a pain crisis, like, what is it that helps you to push through and just not give up? Because I know sometimes you just want to give up. I'm sure I
Yeah.
know I want to give up, and I don't even have sickle cell. And that's the thing I say is, I don't have any connection to sickle cell except for working as a sickle cell case manager. And we already talked about my experience earlier. But for you, what is your why? Like, why do you push through?
Um, well, more importantly, I push through because I have a family, I have a husband, I have kids. I
Hmm.
push hard for myself.
Hmm.
I've known so many people with sickle cell disease to, feel a certain type of way about it or not be as positive as I am and they not make it.
Okay.
Um, or, they deal with other things.
Right.
So I just try to be as positive as I can. I try not to complain about it
Hmm.
and I mean, there are days that I want to just want to give up, but I mean, still got to keep going. I have a family.
Hmm.
And I mean, not just for them, but for me as well,
Hmm.
because people think when you have sickle cell disease, you're limited.
Hmm.
Yeah, our lives can be limited, but we're still normal people.
Okay. And
So,
I just want to share like something that wasn't mentioned before. Well, Diane mentioned that it's hereditary, but I just like people to know that it's not contagious. Some people be like,
right, it's not
"Oh,
contagious.
I can't hug that person. I can't touch that person. I can't sit in the
I
same seat they sat
actually
in."
I
So
went through that in school when I was in
mm,
elementary school. When
yeah,
I was in
so
elementary school and middle school, I went through that. But I will say it is hereditary, but I'm the only one in my whole family with sickle cell disease.
oh wow.
Most people, they have maybe a sibling or a cousin or aunt.
Mm-hmm.
I just have two siblings that have sickle cell trait, but
Gotcha.
I don't have anybody in my family that actually has sickle cell disease.
Okay.
So that is another thing that's kind of harder on my end because I don't have anybody in my family that can actually relate to
Mm-hmm.
sickle cell.
Okay.
They know of it, they know about it because of me, but they can't actually relate like some of my other friends do because they actually have people in their family that has it.
Gotcha. Well, I just want to thank both of you guys before the Zoom cuts off. And Diane, I'll be in touch with you so I can just make sure I get the proper spelling of anything. And I just want to thank both of you ladies so much for sharing your stories today with me. And like I said, I'll be in touch with what I come up with.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
Thank you
sorry
guys
again,
so
I was
much.
late.
It's okay. Thank you. Y'all have an awesome day.